you read all that, and I'm trying to figure out when do I have time to give attention to my family. But my queen in the front row here makes sure that happens. I'll try not to take up too much time. I told Dean earlier that this is truly an honor to come back home and to speak before you. Hopefully you'll take away some nuggets from what I share. I know there's a ton of excitement. There's a ton of pride, as it should be, in each and every one of you, in anticipation of what's to come. Just super excited about the next generation of healthcare professionals. So if you bear with me, I'm gonna share some thoughts. Hopefully it actually will weave in some of the things you heard even in song, right? What can I do while my time is here, and make it intentional, right? If you can help somebody, hopefully you get a little thread of that in what I have to share tonight. All right, so without further ado, I do wish to say good evening to you all, distinguished faculty for sure, right? Our staff, proud families, and most importantly, the extraordinary P1 class of future pharmacists. Let's just give another round for these student trainees. As I shared, I'm both humbled and honored to be with you today, standing where I once walked the yard. This building wasn't even here when I was in school. That tells you how old I am, okay? And standing where I once studied, right, to become a pharmacist one day, right here at Xavier. It feels like a homecoming. It actually is every time I come down. The nostalgia is real, and I'm super stoked about the centennial, as you guys should be. And it reminds me of a powerful quote by Maya Angelou, who is a native St. Louisan, if you didn't know, all right? When you learn, because we are all learning, right? When you learn, teach. When you get, because we're all getting some things every day. When you get, give, okay? Those words have been a North Star in my life, and I share them with you here today because this moment, your white coat ceremony, is not just about what you will learn, but about what you will ultimately give. Today marks your official entrance into a sacred profession and a lifelong calling. As you don those white coats, you step into a centuries-old tradition of healing, of leadership, and of service. But as Xavierites, hear me now, as Xavierites, you carry an even deeper charge to contribute to the promotion of a more just and humane society by preparing to assume roles of leadership and service in the global community. That is not just a motto on a website. It is a mission. And it's one that I've carried in my heart for over 30 years. Even now, when I wear, and don't sleep, this little special pen here, this was my Xavier College of Pharmacy pen. This was the first pen that I had on my white coat representing our class. The same one that I wore back then. It's a constant reminder of pride, of privilege, and dedication. It connects me to the classmates I studied with, to the professors, right, who challenged me, and oh, they challenged me, and they will you, right? To the patients who trusted me, and the countless ways Xavier prepared me for every season of my journey. When I arrived at Xavier, I was eager, right? I was hopeful, and if I'm honest, I was a little unsure. I knew I wanted to serve. I knew I wanted to heal, but I had no idea just how much this institution would shape me into the person and leader I would become. From student pharmacists to inpatient clinical pharmacists, to leadership in pharmacy, to now being a vice president in one of the largest healthcare organizations in this country. Thank you. Thank you. Each chapter of my journey has validated the mission of this university and College of Pharmacy. I've had the privilege to create health career pathways, as you guys have heard, for students of all ethnicities and backgrounds. I've been part of brokering the historic clinical training affiliation between our major healthcare organization and Xavier University post-Katrina. We've now trained almost 100 students come through that initiative, right? I've served on national, state, and local boards and committees, all in the pursuit of health equity and in service to those our healthcare system far too often overlooks. Now, let's be real about this moment that you're stepping into. You're beginning this journey during the most challenging political and social landscapes healthcare has ever faced. Across this country, there's debates about equity, inclusion, and access to care. They're shaping policies that affect how we practice medicine and pharmacy specifically, right? There are efforts to restrict discussions of diversity and equity, and even as we know disparities remain the greatest injustice in healthcare, too often, patients who need the most care, rural communities, immigrants, people of color, those without insurance, they receive the least. And yet, here you are, the next generation of pharmacists, the positive change agents tomorrow needs. This means your white coat, it's not just a uniform, it's a responsibility. A responsibility to use your education, to use your influence, and yes, to use your voice to fight for equitable care, to honor Xavier's mission, and to lead in spaces where silence could mean someone's life. As you step into this responsibility, I want to offer you 4 reflections that have anchored me along the way. First, this is usually if I'm talking to students that say, get your pen out, you should be writing some notes, but I know we're at a different time right now, right? First, let your purpose anchor you. Let your purpose anchor you. In the 90s, and yes, I say 90s, before you guys were even born, maybe even thought of, I had to remind myself why I was here when the curriculum felt so overwhelming. And just like for me, this journey is sure to challenge you along the way. There will be days of doubt, frustration, fatigue. Some days you may find yourself worrying about life's problems beyond those of just your exams, like whether your tuition is going to get paid this semester, okay? I was in that long line at Xavier South, okay? How you're going to cover your rent, okay? Back then, some of you guys may still do this, but back then we lived off ramen noodles. I just had a professor say, Stephen, you kind of filled out, got muscles. I said, yeah, I can afford food now, okay? Today you guys have DoorDash and Uber Eats, right? For us, it was trucking all the way down Carrollton to Popeyes to get a biscuit and honey, because that's all I could afford at the time. Or maybe if I had a few extra nickels, I'd get a chicken sandwich or nachos from the Snappy's truck. For old heads that remember Snappy's, a white truck that would pull up here, right in the right time during the study break. But I challenge you to remember why you started. Hold close those stories, okay? The loved ones, the communities that inspired you to choose this path. Your purpose will help you remind yourself of your why, for this will surely be the fuel through those trying times. Second, lead with empathy, okay? You will care for patients from every background imaginable. Each one brings their lived experiences, their fears, hopes, and often their distrust of a system that has not always served them well. Lead with your hearts as much as with your head. Listen deeply. See them fully. Remember, a brilliant clinical decision without compassion is incomplete care. Okay, I'm going to say that again. A brilliant clinical decision without compassion is incomplete care. Number 3, leave the profession better than you found it. Use your voice. Advocate for the voiceless. Mentor those coming behind you. Build programs. Influence policy. Challenge inequities. I stand here because Xavier instilled in me the courage and the responsibility to do just that. Now it is your turn. 4th and finally, invest in each other. This journey is not meant to be walked alone. Build meaningful, trusting relationships with your classmates, with your faculty, yes, with your faculty, with your preceptors, and everyone you encounter along the way. Support one another through late-night study sessions, clinical rotations, professional challenges, and even personal triumphs. Because you never know when you or they will be the person someone else needs. Honor the principle, lifting as you climb. It is a philosophy that has guided generations before you, and it should guide you now. In school, in work, in life, please leave no one behind. Celebrate each other's victories and be a source of strength in the hard moments. Those relationships will carry you farther than any textbook ever could. My classmates from the 90s became lifelong friends and colleagues. We lifted each other when things got hard, and we celebrated each other's victories, probably at the end of every semester with a party at the lake. But you know, that's what we did. There are people who stood from these groups in my wedding, right? Who I can't wait to see every year at homecoming, especially coming up here for Centennial. They are the ones I spent late nights with in the pharmacy library, or at that time in Tulane's library when the library here closed a little early, right? They're the ones who checked on me when I was hanging with my bros with the Noops a little bit too much, right? Trying to compete in step shows and instead of studying, right? They're the ones who reminded me, player, come on, bro, we got work to do, okay? Get over here with us in this study group. Ultimately, they're the reason I stayed on track and graduated on time with my class. You'll need that same circle of support. Remember what I say, lift as you climb. And while you're building your careers, your dreams are coming true, please never forget to give back, especially to Xavier. No, I wasn't paid to say this, okay? But especially to Xavier. Your presence here today, it is not an accident. Someone, whether it be a family member, a mentor, could be a faculty member, there's someone at this institution, or maybe it was even divine intervention, okay? Someone invested in you. And when you give back to Xavier, you're not only just writing a check or offering your time, you're ensuring that the next student pharmacist who walks through those doors as you did has the same chance you have today. It shows dedication, and it shows respect for the community that believed in you before you may have even fully believed in yourself. And now, I know some of you may be thinking, Dr. Player, that sounds great, but right now, I don't even have my pharmacy license or a job, okay? I'm just trying to survive pharmacy school, okay? And that's fair, right? That's fair. But giving back doesn't always mean money. It can mean mentoring a younger student, tutoring in those areas that you are strong in, sharing your story with a freshman or underclassman who's just starting to dream of the possibilities, or offering feedback that helps faculty make the curriculum connect better for future students. Those are all forms of giving back, and they matter, okay? Xavier has always believed that leadership and service are inseparable. And healthcare is one of the greatest arenas where both are needed. It's not enough to fill a prescription or verify orders, though you must do those things with excellence, and Xavier will skill you up to do that. It's about how you show up in your practice, in your communities, and in the lives of those who depend on you. James Baldwin once said, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced." As you take on that white coat, you are also taking on the responsibility to face the hard truths of healthcare disparities, systemic inequities, and gaps in access, and to be the generation of pharmacists and future healthcare leaders who refuse to accept the status quo. So today, as I stand before you, as I mentioned, with my College of Pharmacy pen in hand, right? A symbol of pride, privilege, and of course, nostalgia. I love my XU, baby. I ask you to wear your white coat with the same intention. Wear it with pride because you are part of a legacy that is bigger than yourself. Wear it with purpose because your communities need you. Wear it with compassion because every patient deserves to be seen and heard. And let me add this. When you wear that white coat, you aren't just representing yourselves. You're representing your family, many of which may be here tonight. You're representing your classmates, the faculty who poured into you, the history of this noble profession, and this great institution we call Xavier. You carry a brand, and that brand matters. So as much as I enjoy a good TikTok or Insta post, remember, no twerking on social media in your white coat, okay? No posting things that are gonna diminish the respect you've worked so hard to earn. Protect the brand. Protect the brand. Protect the investment so many have made for you. Tonight, as you put it on for the first time, know this: I believe in you. Xavier believes in you. And your communities, they're waiting on you. Please, congratulations, before I go any further, to the class of 2029. 2029. And before I go, I must say this. Please, please, please remember, as you should with pride, once a Xavier right, always a Xavier right. XU, baby.